Welcome to the podcast Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook, where we will discuss the latest and most relevant business strategies to help you do one thing extremely well: sell more homes. We'll discuss everything from business planning to lead generation and conversion to past client customer service and everything in between. Join us for authentic conversations and nuts and bolts takeaways you can implement into your business today. And now, Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook.
Welcome back to another episode of Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook. As always, we have Kelly Cook in the building. Kelly, how are you doing?
God, feeling great today, Elizabeth. I had a special guest on today, and this guy is special in many, many ways. I'm just so excited, right, to have this guy on. So he has been in this space in real estate, right, for such a long time that I have a feeling he's going to drop some nuggets today that everyone's going to get in our quick, hard pounding 15 minutes. On a podcast that we always do, and give meat and potatoes, takeaways, action items that everyone can enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're wondering who that special mystery guest is, it is Senior Vice President over at Navi Title. We got Anthony Penna in the room with us today. Kelly will ask him a few questions, about title type of information. I know that we talk a lot on the agent side of things, kind of coming from a real estate agent, but it's always really good to get other players in the space in to give their point of views on certain situations. So let's jump right into it.
I thought we were talking Penn State, Nebraska football. That's what you're telling me.
Well, more Nebraska football. This is
I gotta refocus now.
Yeah, this isn't. We could do Nebraska football with Kelly Cook, but that's a different podcast.
And we, you know what? Listen, you got to re-podcast. So guys, we just completely stumped Anthony Penna. We have these questions will be off the cuff now at this point because the scripted ones are all about football.
Let's go.
All right, let's go. So hard hitting. Here we go, Penna. Just real quick though, before we give, I know Elizabeth did a great job telling the viewers, kind of a little bit about yourself, but background. So how'd you get into this position of being within the title escrow industry?
I owned a cigar bar cafe back east, and I was getting burned out. When they say don't do business with family, that is truth 1000%. My uncle, rest his soul, he was out here doing business, and he came back from my grandmother's 90th birthday, and we did a little walk, and he told me, hey, come out to Arizona, come work with me, commercial real estate land development. And I came out here, and, next thing I know, a good friend of his was the sales manager over at an F&F title company. He offered me a job, and I knew nothing about title and escrow. And we sat down for 2.5 hours, and he goes, here, jump in. And I called my uncle and said, hey, what do you think? He goes, well, if you work with me in commercial, you won't be making any money for a year. So go try it. If you don't like it, come out here. And 22 years later, I'm still in this business. So
love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I still know nothing. And I still know nothing about title and escrow, just so you know.
Just floated through.
He literally spends all his time on Wikipedia and the internet Googling Penn State football all day long.
Yeah, exactly. The funny part about this, it is a secret business, because I tell people I actually started out in, customer service to sales management to my current position now with, Navi Title that, Ryan started, and senior vice president. So it is a secret little gem. You just got to work your way up.
Yeah. It brings me up that story of, I forget who the guy's name is right now, but he's a CEO, or was at least a year ago, of ExxonMobil. And this guy, I can't remember his name, it's killing me, but they said his story was awesome. I read it, his article, and he started in 1982 as a janitor sweeping the floors of one of Exxon's office buildings. Yep. And he literally just stuck with it and was consistent and just got another better job as a promotion. And now he's a CEO making way more money than all of us in 1 year, right? And that's a pretty good gig, right? So it's still what I'm hearing you say is consistency, right?
Absolutely. Consistency, surround yourself with good people, and just keep on learning. And guess what?
Showing up.
You learn from the right people.
Yeah. Amen, brother. Okay. So I'm going to jump in here. I got some questions here I'm going to ask you. All right. So right now in this time, in the housing market across the country, really everywhere. And of course here in Arizona, many consumers believe the housing bubble is coming. And there's some reasons out there though, that at least 4 specifically, I know you want to cover if you're going to get to all 4, as to why today is different than what it was last time we went through this.
And if you heard me before, like I know Kelly, you follow me on social media, and there's two things I always like to say. Headlines do more to terrify and clarify. Stop reading the headlines, and it's data over drama. And once again, you remember back in 2020 when unfortunately COVID started, they were calling for the foreclosure wave.
Yep.
And we were saying there's no foreclosure wave coming. Then they did it again last year. So now they're brushing off the foreclosure wave. And now they're saying, oh my God, here comes a bubble. We're in a bubble. And if you know our market, you got to go over the data. And there's reasons. It's funny you said the consumers. Kelly, 77% of the consumers out there think there's a bubble coming. It's scary.
That's crazy.
And there's 40, I think it's around 44% of agents. Now, these are agents who are out there think that a bubble's coming. And that's where you got to follow the data. And there are 4 different points of why the bubble is not coming. It's, one of them is, you talk about that foreclosure wave. Well, the foreclosure wave's not coming. It's a totally different market than when the crash was in 2008 or 9. When the word forbearance, everyone knows the word forbearance, and that's what they were closing the foreclosure wave for. I think there were 7.2 million people in forbearance when it first started in 2020. It's now under 800,000 people in forbearance. And now that's over nationwide, Kelly. That's not
right.
Arizona, that's nationwide. And most of those people either are going to work out an agreement with the bank or they have enough equity in their house to sell it. So that's one reason why we're not going in the bubble. The other reason is the market's different. They're different lending standards now. If you talk to your lenders, I know, you partner with, Freeman would be jumping in right now at Spiral, different lending standards now. Kelly, back then, your dog and my dog could have bought a house in 2008, 9, and 10. I mean, the lender standings are so much different right now. It's a lot tougher to get a house, which makes it a lot, different. The other thing is, Kelly, and you can jump in on this one, supply and demand. How much supply did we have back then? Did we not overbuild?
Oh, big time. I want to say it was a ratio of like we were 14% overbuilt and now we're 12% underbuilt.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a huge difference when you go supply and demand, because what did that do when we were overbuilt? That's where a crash could happen, Kelly, where your equity could drop in homes. Guess what? We are undersupplied right now. There's more demand than supply. It's demand and supply. And guess what? A lot of people back then were underwater. They could walk away from their homes. They didn't care. Hey, I'm under 100,000, 150. I'm walking away. Look how much equity people have in their homes right now. People are not walking away from their homes right now.
And quick point, I just wanted to point out that I read in an article this morning, nationwide, there are 250,000 homes listed nationwide, 250,000 in the entirety of the United States. So just kind of to bring up when you talk about there's not that oversupply that we had in that time. I mean, that just really paints the picture there. It's pretty low.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, and the other thing is, you remember back then, Kelly, how many people took that equity, what equity they did have in their house, used it as a bank. They went out and bought boats, bottle service, went to Old Town Scottsdale, couldn't afford it, but they took money out of their home to go party to impress that girl they were trying to impress. It's people are a lot smarter with their money now, and that gets back into the lending standard. So I'm telling you, and I'm not an expert, I'm a crystal ball, but I did call back in 2020 because I follow really important people. I mean, people I follow are a lot smarter than me, and they were the ones who say no foreclosure wave, no foreclosure waves, houses are going to appreciate this and all that one. Most of the experts are not calling for this bubble that people are talking about. So if that's holding you from buying a home, you need to reach out to Kelly Cook. You need to reach out to a Michael Freeman at Spiral. Just reach out to somebody you trust, but somebody who knows the market. Not, don't watch these YouTube and Facebook experts who know about COVID one day, they're doctors, then they're going to tell you about the housing market the next day. So that's with that. So that's where I get into the data over drama part.
Yeah, I love that. It's so true. And I remember I listened, it makes me think of the movie The Big Short, right? The lending practices. I don't know if you guys saw that one when the guy's down in Florida at the club, and the one gal is buying her like 14th rental property, and all she makes is cash, right? And he's like, "Whoa, wait, how many? 14?" That's when he goes, "Oh, something is up here," right? So that should not be happening right now in the market, right? From a lending practice standpoint. So it is totally different. I couldn't agree with you more. And I love the data over drama, because that's what a lot of people try to create drama. Why? Because it sells, right? The media, it sells. And how many times does someone take the advice of what someone, a talking head on the media, says, and all they have to go by is a national perspective, right? Well, real estate is localized and it's micro localized, right? And so I agree with you, Penna. We need to talk to real estate experts for the area you want to be in. No doubt about it. Well said. Well said.
Kelly, getting back to that data, like you just said, I'm glad you said about the media. It's called clickbait advertising. They want you to click. Everything's online now. They want you to click on those headlines to go to their website. So they give a headline, but then when you read the full article, it's not what the headline says. It's scare bait. That's where they make their money in their clickbait. Negative news sells, unfortunately. So that's why I think you remember your class meeting. You asked, what are you going to change this year? What did I say? I'm going to stop trying to watch the news.
That's right.
Just listen to podcasts and follow people know what they're talking about. So.
Yep. You definitely, your net worth is tied to your network, right? There's that old saying. And I also believe it also is tied to the amount of books you read, the amount of people, the amount of podcasts you listen to, the type of people you associate yourself with, right? 100%. Yeah. Well, I love it. And let's transition real quick here to the next topic real quick, which is, let's talk about real estate homes as, an investment or a strategy right now. With that, there's different subsegments of that conversation, right? Which are rent, cost, and they are going up, obviously, especially in Arizona, but across the country. Right now is a good time to sell or buy, and so on and so forth. What are your thoughts on that, Anthony?
Well, I mean, listen, if you're out there renting, some people have reasons why they want to rent. I mean, maybe you can't purchase a home, which is another reason why you need to talk to a real estate expert, because you might not know that you don't need 20% down on a home. There's other products out there. Some people just have in their head, I need 10% down, 15%, 20% down, this, that one. You have to talk to the experts. If you got to rent, you got to rent. But if you're, because I had someone talk to me, I'm on some sites, personal sites on Facebook, private groups, and I see people posting, hey, my rent just went up from $2,800 to $3,500. Does anybody have anything available? There's not one. Well, if you're paying $2,800 to $3,500, you need to contact someone and buy a home, because it's just the equity's there, and rent is going up so much right now. I think the average rent in Arizona is now like 2,300, Kelly. I mean, you might know
it's actually 2190 right now.
2190. I was close to that one right now.
Yeah.
And I think, and I might be jumping ahead here, but home ownership is a hedge against inflation, because we talked about that inflation earlier.
Yes.
I mean, what a better way hedge than home ownership, where you're building that equity. You have the same payments every month because you have that same interest rate. So with rents going up, and guess what? They're going to continue to go up. You got to think what happened last year, Kelly. A lot of those homeowners or investors, people weren't paying them. They'd have to pay rent. Remember, there were certain government programs out there. So these people have to make their money back somehow. And guess what? They can raise their rent $300-400, because guess what? Someone else is going to move right in there, because what did you just say earlier? There's a lack of inventory out there. People need.
Well, especially when you have 269 people, right, moving to the Phoenix, Arizona area per day in the last year in 2021, right? 269 net, right? So you're including that kind of population base and household formation to the Phoenix area as an example. And there's other markets like this across the country, right? Austin, Charlotte, Tampa, right? I mean, these places, it's the same thing. So I totally agree that they're going up. And right now, that 2190 number in Arizona is your average rent payment. Well, the average monthly mortgage payment in that same time frame right now is 2178. So it is still with price appreciation, it is still cheaper right now to buy. Now that might change here pretty soon, because obviously rates are starting to climb. But what a great job, like you said, Anthony, of locking in 15 years or 30 years on a fixed payment. And what do home prices do in an inflationary environment? They go up.
They go up. And Kelly, there's a chart, and I think I sent it to you at the last meeting, and they were comparing home ownership versus rent. In every financial bracket, I don't care if you're making real low money, medium money, high money, the people who own a house had more wealth than the renters.
Mm.
It's a really good chart showing in every bracket because of the appreciation people made in the last 2 years. I don't know if you remember, and this talks about the headlines, Miss Susie Orman, a couple of years ago in July of 2020, and I crushed her. And I had people coming at me firing because, you're going to crush Susie Orman. She had how many followings? She told all her people not to buy because the foreclosure wave was coming. Sit in your rental property, wait until this is all done because you're going to buy. And then in September, when all these people come out of forbearance, you're going to lose 50% of your home. Well, Kelly, and I know that's getting your next topic, and I always jump ahead because that's just me. I'm an Italian East Coast guy. So it's appreciation. How much money did those people lose in the last 2 years?
Oh, it makes me sick.
Elizabeth, I see you shaking your head over there. You're because right? It's just So, but getting back to what we said, you renters, if you have to rent, we understand it. But if you're not sure, please reach out to Kelly or something. I get fired up when I say that one because I feel bad for these people throwing their money away.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And if you want to change your address, right? Obviously you have to make the move. Well, if you make the move, do you buy, sell? Well, if you own a house right now, how much easier is it to then buy the next house? Because you might be paying more, but you're selling for more too. So, then there's strategies we can talk a lot on a different podcast about what you do with that extra money. Do you put it on the next house? Do you pull them off the table? But the reality is, if you're renting right now and you wait, man, that the house, 28% appreciation or so last year in Phoenix alone, and other markets experienced something like this across the country. We were up almost double digits, right? So I don't care where you're at, it's going up. So if you're renting, at some point you have got to cut the cord and jump in the game and buy a house. I did see a stat to your point here, Anthony, regarding the net worth of an individual who owns one house, right? Say the one they live in, versus a individual who rents a house. Now, I haven't updated this. I think this was 2020, might mean 2019 is old, but it was just a little over $200,000. So like $201,000 was the average net worth of somebody in America who owned just one house. 202, that's significant. That's good. The average net worth of someone who did not own a house, this is average, right? So this could be a doctor, it could be, whatever, right? Someone who, works part-time with the local gym, whatever. Point is, it was $5,950 net worth average. It makes you want to just throw up.
And Kelly, that gets into, and you did a great job of your meeting last week when we brought this up about, do I buy at the height of the market? Because you're getting that question all the time now. Hey, houses are overpriced right now. And I understand what you're saying, but I can't jump in right now because houses are overpriced, this and that one. Do I buy at the height of the market? And you and I went over a scenario where on a $350,000 sale, what they're projecting home prices to be, in 5 years, it's going to be worth $89,000, $90,000 you just made in the next 5 years. Buying at the height of the market, which means they're predicting houses, even though you're buying at the height. Hey, Kelly, it's like football free agency. You pay some guy a lot of money one year, and everyone's like, you overpaid for that guy. And then 4 or 5 years later, that guy's like, hey, I need to make more money. What the heck's going on here? That other guy just got paid. That other guy just got paid 50% more than I did.
Right. That's it. And by the way, that guy you paid the money to, you may have overpaid, but he may have brought you a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right. And the ROI on that is pretty good if you're the owner or the ownership group.
Yeah. So you might have overpaid for that house right now, but guess what? In 3 to 5 years, because if you're buying that house, you're not flipping it. If you're not an investor, guess what? If $350,000 home and that's a 10% increase, which we know Arizona is around 25, we'll go a little bit higher than that one. I don't know about you, but I'd love to have $90,000, $100,000 in my account in the next 4 to 5 years.
100%. And I'll just say this one last thing, and you know this too already, Anthony, but the reality is even if it didn't appreciate at all, for all you naysayers out there, that's fine. I'm very conservative. Good. Let's say it's 0% appreciation, right? Then you just not only get your down payment back, right? If you're about $40,000, put 10% down on that same house, approximately, but you will pay down the equity buy down. That will be about the same. It'll be right around $40,000, just under. So not only do you live for free, you actually are getting a down payment back plus an additional approximately $40,000 on the equity buy down over 5 years on that same mortgage. So no brainer.
Great
Okay,
point.
so we covered some good stuff here. I love the data over drama. Love that so much. All right, so we're gonna leave the viewers with this here, Anthony. If you could give one thing that the agents listening to or real estate professionals listening to this podcast right now could do to take as a takeaway to implement in their business over the next week or two or month, what would you say that might be?
On the agents, just do me a favor. Stop being out there crying, saying there's no inventory on the market. Because
Love it.
the reason I'm going to say it is because you're kind of absolutely wrong. If you look at sales from 2019 to 21, and we're predicting now, 61 million sales in 2009. 6.1 million sales in 2019, 6.5 in 2020, close to 7 million in 2021, and they're predicting some more this year. So if you look at the sales of each year, Kelly, what does that say? I mean, I was never really good at math, but I think each sale went up every year, correct?
They're going up, but there's no inventory. What do you mean?
But if they're going up, there's no inventory, and 7 million is a lot of homes. So if there's no inventory out there, and guess what? So what it is there, and you understand this term better than I will, because I got this from a really big agent in Philadelphia, Tom Toole, who's a really top agent. The way he said is there's no stale inventory sitting in the market. And that's the message you need to be getting out there. Don't be, there's no inventory out there. Because guess what? Nobody wants to work with someone who's negative about this real estate market right now. So for real estate agents, that's my advice to you. And for the consumer, it's exactly what you're doing now, doing a podcast, giving out good information for people. I said it earlier, stop getting on YouTube and Facebook. Listen, those people don't know what they're talking about. They're negative. Stop reading the headlines on the news. Reach out to someone who knows what they're talking about and follow the data. Because if you were to follow the data, you'd have a lot of money in the bank right now. And don't be frustrated with the market. Work with an expert. Hey, I know some of you have family and friends out there who are real estate agents. Guess what? This market's shifting. It's going to turn into, you know what it's going to be this year? It's going to be a skill-based market for agents. No longer you walk in a house, get that listing, put a sign up and sell it. You need to be more skilled in the market right now, whether it's negotiating. So work with people you know and trust who have a good team around them and know what the heck they're talking about.
Wow. Mic drop. Words of wisdom from Anthony
I'm
Penna.
out.
Yeah. I love it, man. Thank you very much for that. I really enjoyed having you on here today. Elizabeth, what do you think? Oh, you're on mute.
Oh my goodness. I loved it. Those are things, we've talked about a lot of those same topics before, but I think it's always great to have somebody else kind of reinforce our thoughts, right? Or give kind of a different perspective on it. So, and I loved your energy. So we really, it's the East Coast thing.
I know you got to go, but I have to give a shout out to my daughter, Penn State, because I know you're a Nebraska guy, but they did something this weekend that was amazing. They did this thing every year it's called a thon. And my daughter, who's a senior, waited 4 years to participate in this one, where they raise money for child cancer. And they get out there for 48 straight hours, and they have to stand up and dance and raise money. And they raised $13.7 million this year. Those kids at Penn State University. So I just want to give a shout out.
Congratulations to them.
Yeah, congratulations to them. Is there any Penn State alum out there? Be proud. We are. So
we are. Hey, now if only their football team was as good as their fundraising, then you'd have something good to talk about.
Had to throw that in there.
Okay, I knew I should have quit when I was ahead.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, man. I really enjoyed it.
Well, wonderful. If anybody wants to get in touch with either of you, where can they do that? Anthony, if any of our viewers have questions that they want to reach out to you about and get some of your personal expertise, where can they reach you?
You can follow me on Facebook or Instagram. Of course, Kelly will laugh at my Instagram tag, A Penna Italia, Italia. You can reach me on there. You can call me on my cell phone. I don't care. 602-510-8848. And most likely when you reach out to me, I'm going to send you to Kelly anyway. So
nice. I'd be happy to answer those questions, guys.
Perfect. Well, if they want to go straight to the source, then Kelly, where can they reach you?
Well, my cell phone too. Hey, 480-227-2028 or info@kellycookhomes.com.
Perfect. One last thing before we go, I've got to throw it in there. If you guys are looking to build your real estate team and want the dang near perfect blueprint on how to do it, right? Let's go ahead and go to buildyourrealestateteam.com, and Kelly has put together that blueprint for you. Other than that, guys, we will see you all next week with some, more interesting things that you can implement in your business, or just things for you to talk to your clients about to, keep them up to speed on what's going on in this market. But until then, we'll see you next time, Kelly. And it was really great to meet you, Anthony.
Try to top this show next week. Go ahead, try.
I don't think we can.
Hey, thank you guys. Thank you very much
guys.
for listening. Appreciate you.
Take care.
Welcome to the podcast Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook, where we will discuss the latest and most relevant business strategies to help you do one thing extremely well: sell more homes. We'll discuss everything from business planning to lead generation and conversion to past client customer service and everything in between. Join us for authentic conversations and nuts and bolts takeaways you can implement into your business today. And now, Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook.